send a little one-liner home. Hey, just wanted you to know I saw Joey help out one of his fellow students today in class. That was awesome. Just wanted you to know. Those little things, I call it pennies in the bank. It is positive and it shows it's setting the baseline of I care about your student, which is really where we are in education. We got into this because we care about the students.
Right.
Now, when a challenge does come, you've built up credibility with the parent.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brighter Together podcast. My name is Janet Courtney, and my special guest today is Mike Juhas. Mike is the superintendent at the Diocese of Pensacola-Tallahassee in Pensacola, Florida. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm very excited to be here with your audience.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us, Mike, a little bit about how you became the superintendent and a little bit about your school.
Absolutely. Happy to do so. So I'm in my 26th year of education. Originally, that was not the plan. My first degree was in business. So I was thinking I was going to go out into the business world, and I just felt called to teaching and coaching. So I decided to give that a try and fell in love with it. The opportunity to be able to interact with the kids, make a difference in people's lives. I just enjoyed it tremendously. So I taught for 10 years, taught and coached anywhere from grades 3 to 11 on teaching. And then coaching, I did some football, some basketball, some tennis. Really enjoyed that opportunity. I was in Louisiana until Hurricane Katrina hit. Then I had an opportunity to go overseas and spend a year in China. I met my wife over there. A wonderful experience in an international school. And then I spent some years in Texas. And from there, worked on the master's in educational leadership. I felt called to make a difference in that way, to work on structures of schools and to be able to shape policy. So I then, after that 10 years of teaching, I was a principal for 3 years, then a school president for 2 years, and then came on as superintendent of Catholic schools for this diocese. I'm now in year 11, and honestly, I love my job. I'm loving every minute of it, and there are really some ways you can make a difference on a macro scale, and then be able to coach up some of those that are younger, that are starting out their career, and help them to be successful. And it's just a beautiful thing. I enjoy it, and I thank God every day for the ability to be able to glorify Him in what I do.
Amen. Amen. You know, you said 26 years and I was like, no way. You do not look like you've been doing this for 26 years. So congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, so tell me a little bit about, so was all of that, have you always been in like the Catholic system, or were you in public education as well?
I've never been in public education. Starting out, I wouldn't have been able to go into public education because I came in with a business degree. So I started out in independent schools, then got my license, and then so I was always independent schools. I didn't get into Catholic schools until my last 4 years of teaching. I was with a Jesuit school, and then all my administrative time has been in Catholic schools.
Okay. What is the difference? Is there much of a difference between being in a Catholic school or versus what you would see in a public school? I'm assuming there is, but I don't know. I've never done it, so.
Right. There are a lot of differences, and the biggest thing is that we align everything to faith. And it's not just about that we begin our class with prayer and that we do have theology class. That's obviously an important part of what we do and part of our mission, but it goes much deeper. So when we talk about the different things we do, if you look at part of a school is being accredited, and that's your bona fides. That's how you prove that you provide quality. Well, our accreditation is tied to mission. So the Catholic faith, the Catholic worldview, teaching the virtues, all of those kind of things go into every decision we make. So what's important is if we're thinking about, okay, do we need to build a new building? Do we need to expand or offer a new course or in our curriculum? All of those decisions, we're going to come back to faith. How does this help advance the faith? How does this help glorify God? How does this bring people closer to God? All of those things go into making those types of decisions, and that's a big part of it too. And then when you look in the classroom, yes, we can talk about God, we talk about our faith, but we also talk about virtues, which public schools can talk about virtues. We do it through the Catholic lens, but also in our curriculum, we work with organizations that teach us how to talk about truth, beauty, and goodness when we talk about our curriculum. So it's not just that we're teaching a particular novel, but we're also teaching the virtues and the vices characters may have. We're teaching, how can this person, where are they in their faith walk? Where can they go closer to God through these things? It's about spiritual growth of our individual. And for everyone, that's going to look a little different, but it's about helping them on their faith journey. And really, I learned this from the Jesuits. It's about seeking the Magis for each person, and that is the more in Latin, but seeking the best that each person can be. Not everyone's going to be the straight A student. Not everyone's going to be the all-star athlete, but how can we take that child where they are and help them to grow as much as they're capable of growing and what works best for them, and to guide them and be nurturing for them on that process.
Yeah, and the gifts that God has given them, and the reason that they're on this planet, right, on the earth. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely.
1000%. I love that. I love that. So tell us a little about the diocese that you're at, the school that you're at right now.
Sure, sure. So I'm over the system of schools. So it's the
Okay.
Catholic schools in the Florida Panhandle. So we have 11 Catholic schools. We have 3 high schools, 8 elementary schools. One of them brand new, just opened this year, which we're so excited about.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you, thank you. It was a whole team effort, and we have fantastic leadership from the pastor and the principal on down there that made it happen. I'm there to help guide them on the process, but they deserve the credit for getting it off the ground. And it's been a beautiful thing. But we have 11 schools. We also have 5 Catholic preschools, early learning centers. So we serve probably overall about 3,300 students, and it's a great opportunity. It's small enough where I can have personal interaction with each one, but large enough to where you get to see a variety of even what they teach as far as curriculum choices, approaches. There's going to be differences, but it's all woven in with the Catholic faith. So it's a lot of site-based leadership, but I'm there. I do co-manage principals with pastors, but I also work on a larger scale with different initiatives. A lot of the things required by either the state or the accreditation agency, and then helping guide principal searches, helping them with a lot of the business aspects of running a school, along with the other offices in our diocese. And we have a great team here, and it's awesome. It's a great group to be around, and we're all working together to help them on their mission and just be the best they can be.
Wow, that's awesome. So, so the kids that come to your school, do they pay? Are there scholarships? How does that work? I know you're a private school, so I'm assuming there's a tuition, but I'm
There
curious. Yeah.
there is tuition, and
Hmm.
it's a combination. So each school has tuition. We are blessed in Florida with school choice.
Yeah.
And with our school choice program, it's universal, so everyone qualifies regardless of income. And there's a certain amount of money that goes into an education savings account that the parent can choose to come to us, or they can choose to go to a different private school. They can choose to homeschool. There are some services, I believe, that can help them in addition to what they might get in a public school. So parents have the choice. So the parents that choose to come to us, that pays part of the tuition. The parents would go out of pocket with the remainder, but
Supplement. Yeah.
there is financial aid available for those who need it. So our schools work with them closely on that process.
Awesome. Awesome. So, do you have special education services then as well?
We do. We do. We
Okay.
have a high school we opened, it was 5, we're in our 6th year.
Okay.
With a high school that is just for special needs students. We opened then, we're very excited. Mother Clelia
Wow.
Morning Star High School that opened just for students with special needs, and they do a great job there in Pensacola. We also have 2 of our elementary schools have Morning Star programs attached to their elementary schools. And then in all of our schools, we do work with learning support plans to be able to help students where we can with special needs.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. So, you said tell me that word again. You just said, see, here's my brain fog I've got going on with me. The Morning Star program, I think is what you
Yes.
said. Yeah.
Mhm.
So tell me what that is.
The Morning Star program is specifically for students with special needs,
Okay. Okay.
and that allows us to provide special education services.
So is that kind of like the students that would be in an IEP in public school then? Is
It,
that
it
how it
would go a
works?
little it would go a little beyond
Okay.
your typical IEP.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So do you have one do you like how you're the superintendent? Do you have one like director that manages all of the special needs students, or do you like the special education students, or how does that? I'm a special educator.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like
it's
so
okay.
I'm so curious there.
Right. We're a very small office. It's just an office of 3 of us.
Oh,
So
okay.
we
Okay.
make it work, but we work closely with the principals at the site level.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So, tell me a little bit more about how what's the your favorite part of your job?
Ooh, okay. Favorite part of my job, I would say, is working with principals, particularly when I get to see them in their buildings. So going out and visiting and being able to be, I would say, almost like a leadership coach or consultant when specific issues come up. I enjoy working with principals. I have 11. I would say it's a lot like having 11 kids. They're very talented. Some need my help more than others, but whatever they need, I want to be there to provide. And just having that opportunity to talk through issues that come up, and usually they know the answer and they figure out that answer on their own, but just being able to help
You
guide
guide
them
them.
and see them grow over time.
Mm-hmm.
We're blessed with a great group of principals. We really are.
Right. Yeah. And I'm sure one of the things that we talked a tiny bit about was culture. So help me to know how you're managing that within, because you're talking about a fairly big area and 3,000 kids. That's a
Sure.
lot.
It is. It definitely is. And culture is important. And I think it starts from the principals and goes down through the staff to the families. And one of the things I like to stress on culture is a culture of Matthew 18:15. And that's the Bible verse about if your brother sins against you, go to your brother first. There's the tendency nowadays when something goes wrong, and inevitably there are going to be challenges, there are going to be conflicts. That happens. That's human nature. But when those happen, sometimes there's a tendency to jump 3 or 4 chains and go straight to the top. Well, Matthew 18:15 teaches us if there's an issue, you should go to that individual first. Give them that respect. And that's when I talk about if I get a call that comes to me, my first question is, have you talked to the teacher? Have you talked to the person where the issue was? Because usually you can work it out among each other. And that builds trust. If you can work it out among each other, it builds that trust and respect. And those are two key elements in order to be able to have a productive relationship. And that's what we want to do is build relationships. Teachers get into education because they care about kids. That's something in their core. And 99+% of teachers are going to have that foundation, and we want to build upon that foundation. And by having the proper channels of communication, everybody needs to grow. Some people are better at it than others, but by showing them that trust and respect that we're going to work it out together, they will grow in that way. And it's fun watching them grow over time. But I think that is important. Along those lines, with a culture of communication, we are in a digital age. It's very easy to fire off a one-way email, and you miss out on the opportunity to dialogue. You can't hear tone in an email. And I think it's very important, the more that people can talk, the better. And I think it's also important to be able to start from a place of positivity versus the first point of contact being negative. So we talk about that in our new teacher training. So, for example, you've got a student, let's just call that student Joey, and Joey's in class, and let's just say Maria's the teacher. So, Miss Maria, there's a conflict with Joey. Something happened in the classroom. Joey may have been talking or disrespectful, whatever it might be. And teacher's going to communicate home, and that's natural. But what we talk about with our teachers is let's catch the kids being good. So let's first, even before that, let's start off with a welcome email. Hey, I'm very excited about working with Joey this year. Please feel free to reach out to me with any concerns. Once you know I'm very excited, we're going to have a great year together. Set a positive tone.
Are you struggling to keep speech therapy fully staffed or tired of high turnover? You're not alone. At Lighthouse Therapy, our speech language pathologists are seasoned professionals, and most of them have over 16 years of school-based experience. They're not just qualified, they're consistent, relational, and results-driven. We offer 3 flexible delivery models: virtual therapy, hybrid therapy, and in-person therapy. It's speech therapy done right for you and your students. Learn more at lighthouse-therapy.com/brighter together. Positive
And
first
then,
email. Yeah.
oh, absolutely. And then beyond that, so let's say something very minor. You might see Joey holds the door open or something, picks up a pencil case that a student dropped and helps with that. Catch the child being good, and let's send a little one-liner home. Hey, just wanted you to know I saw Joey help out one of his fellow students today in class. That was awesome. Just wanted you to know. Those little things, I call it pennies in the bank. It is positive, and it's setting the baseline of I care about your student, which is really where we are in education. We got into this because we care about the students.
Right.
Now, when a challenge does come, you've built up credibility with the parent that they're starting from a place of I care about your child, so that when something negative does happen, it should be received more receptively. Now, it may not always be the case. It may be that parent is in defense attorney mode, and it may not go that way. And, there's a percentage. Law of averages is going to happen every so often, but the majority of the time, that's going to be received better if there's communication. Something also a lot of our schools do is we do student-led conferences, and that really helps the student put how their year's going in their own voice. So the teachers work with them, and it goes back to communication skills. It's so important when kids are behind a phone. Let's get them comfortable talking face to face and building those skills. For us in a Catholic school, one of our bishop's goals is that they can articulate and defend the faith by the time they leave, and that's the ultimate, that's the pinnacle. We want them to be able to articulate and defend the faith, but starting at the ground level, can they articulate how they're progressing in our class? And that produces ownership when things are tough, and it produces the ability to highlight when things are good. So the teachers work with the students, they're able to talk about, and even from the littles, it might be little pictures and smiley faces and sad faces on how different things are going and different challenges, along with examples of student work. But when you do those student-led conferences, it's the child's voice, and now it's not parent versus teacher, it's student leading the way, and we're now together as partners helping the child grow. And that can help a lot too.
Yeah, yeah. And the kids learn that not every interaction, that they don't have to worry about every interaction that you have with their parents is going to be, I did something wrong, right?
Right. And it also gets them comfortable with just talking to their parents. And that's something we're trying to stress more too. There are things called exit tickets that can go a long way to help parent communication. So if you're going to study, let's say you're talking about the Constitution this week in a elementary history class, and we're going to learn about maybe George Washington. We're going to learn about 1776, whatever the little thing might be. Teachers send home a little newsletter. So telling parents, hey, today we're going to talk about, Declaration of Independence. Just be aware, we're going to ask them, exit ticket for this week is going to be about 1776 for today, and tomorrow it's going to be about George Washington. So that now, if the parent knows, hey, we're going to be talking about this in class, we encourage that on the drive home or at the dinner table, even better. Oh, so what'd you learn today? Nothing's worse than a child saying, I don't know. Oh,
I don't
nothing.
know.
My kids have done that.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
how do we fix this? How do we get them talking and engaging?
Uh-huh.
So exit tickets are a way to do that because, oh, what'd you learn? Oh, we learned 1776. Oh, tell me more. And then you can get into a little discussion about that topic or about George Washington or about whatever it might be. That allows you the opportunity. We're talking, let's say we're in English, and what novel are we talking about? And we're going to talk about this virtue. Okay, so tell me what you learned about this virtue. And they can talk about trustworthiness and what does it mean to be trustworthy? And oh, that's great. And you have that whole conversation on the ride home. I've started doing that with my own kids. Tell me about first period, tell me about second period. I have 3 kids I bring home. So between 6 periods and 3 kids, I've got 18 shots to get it right. That we're going to have something that sticks for a good ride home. And that's the hope, is that we're talking more, we're engaging, because you're building that family unit, and the closer they bond. Now as a teacher, you've helped grow that parent-child relationship. That's growing their relationship with you as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I homeschooled my kids for 8 years, and it was beautiful. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They wanted to go back into public school. They started in public school, and then we started homeschooling, and then they went back. My youngest wanted to play football. And homeschool programs, they try to do sports and they do some, but to really have that experience, he wanted to go. And I was like, each one of my children, as you know, kids are all different. They have different needs. And so we were able to send them back to public schools, school of choice. Again, we were in Michigan. So we did school of choice. And not that the district that we were in was bad. It was just big, and we wanted them, if this is going to be, it'd been 8 years since they'd been in public schools. I didn't want them in a humongous district. And some of their friends went to a smaller district that was just butted up against ours. And so it was, it was a way for them to, but again, it was like, you have to be active and paying attention and a part of what they're doing. And when they're in middle school, high school, and you've got a high schooler that's driving, it's really easy to even become disconnected to a certain extent. And especially with the one that doesn't like to talk, So you have to work at it. So I totally get it.
I'm about to experience that. I'm about to have first driver. It hadn't happened yet, but we have 2 permits in the family, so we're close.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you turn around. My son just had his birthday. My middle child, the one that didn't like to talk, his birthday was 2 days ago, and he's 27. I'm like, what? When did that happen? We had
Wow.
20,
Yeah.
28, 27, and 23. And I'm like, I don't know when that happened. And yet they're all adults. No grandbabies yet, though. Waiting on the grandbabies, Mike. I want grandbabies, and I'm not getting them yet. But, it'll happen in time. God's time, not mine. That's what he keeps telling me. It'll happen. Just be patient. Awesome. So your kids are all in the schools that near where you guys live in the Catholic
They
school,
are.
right?
They're in my Catholic
Yeah.
schools.
Yeah.
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 And
Nice.
they're enjoying it. And it's neat having the parent hat.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed that. And it's important for me too. And I told them up front when they go in, yeah, they are representing the family. However, you're never going to get special treatment because you're my kids.
Yeah.
And I want them to be tough on you, and I want them to treat you like every other kid in the school.
Yeah.
And that's always been important to me, is that I want to live the same way the other parents live in the school. And that's how it goes.
It's a great perspective, though. It gives you an opportunity to develop policy in a way where you can do the lens from, yes, I'm the superintendent, but I'm also a parent of, and sounds like you've got middle schoolers, possibly high schoolers, and so you've got them growing up through it, and it's just super important. It really is. Yeah. And we're servants. As educators, we're servants. That's what we do. God gave us this servant heart, and
Absolutely.
having the ability to change the lives of 3,300 kids. We have 3,800 kids at Lighthouse, and I'm so grateful, because it's just every single child that comes through those doors or comes to us is another opportunity to serve and to help them to serve society better, right?
Yeah, service is a big part of the Catholic schools and what we do.
Yeah.
They're all designing service experiences for their schools. I know at the high school, there's what's called Make a Difference Day, and it's one Saturday a year, and the whole student body comes together, the parents come together, and they find different service projects throughout the city. There's probably about 40 of them that go on, and then everyone goes out and does service that whole half day.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's beautiful, and it really does make an impact.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah.
Awesome.
So we expect service requirements, and we expect a retreat experience as well, because to be able to get away from the norm and to be able to have quiet encounter with God is very important.
Yeah. And it is a noisy society we live in, isn't it?
It is. I mean, we all struggle with that. There's so much information readily available on the phone, and how do you unplug, and how do you get to that quiet place? That's something we've lost as a society, and I struggle with that too. But it's important that we find that time, and that particularly to be able to talk among family, then also just quiet time to be able to read, to be able to pray, and to be able to just unplug.
Yeah. I'm when I sit down at I have a desk in my bedroom that I use for my devotions, and if I have my phone, it is so darn distracting that I'm like, I use it for for plans and stuff like that, but my email goes off, or somebody texts me or and then it's like, and I'm like, Lord, oh my goodness, I just get distracted. And I mean, God forgives me, he gets it, but it's still, it can be so incredibly distracting. And it's, I know there's lots of schools. Do you guys allow kids to have their phones in school?
We have technology in the schools that, as far as particular phone policies, that's a site-based decision what each school does.
Gotcha.
So a lot of them handle it differently. A lot of them have a place where they put the phone at the beginning of the day and then they get it later.
Gotcha.
And that's how most run it, but we do let that be site-based.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. You're not dictating from above. That's good.
Right. And again, blessed with a great group of principals that is able to make a lot of their own decisions. And I think having been a principal, that's important, because I knew my building best. I wanted to be able to run my building according to what my pastor wanted and according to what was going to be best for that group of kids. So principle of subsidiarity, try to respect that as much as possible. There are some things where we need to do all the same, but where we don't have to, then that's delegated to the principal.
Awesome. So, Mike, where would people go if they want to learn a little bit more about your schools and about the diocese?
Sure, sure. So our diocesan website is ptdiocese, diocese.org/schools. And they can see on there, we do an annual report book each year that highlights what we've done over the past year. It talks about the academic achievements. It talks about the breakdown of our student body. Talks about a lot of the cool experiences. We had one school take a pilgrimage trip to France. It's
Oh,
Sacred Heart Cathedral
wow.
School, so they could learn about the saints that were associated with the Sacred Heart and go through those holy sites. Beautiful kind of thing. Talking about families who come into the faith, we've had 104 students join the Catholic Church in the past 4 years through our Catholic schools, and that's not something we require. We are open to students of all faiths,
I didn't know that.
but some going through the program feel called and
Mm-hmm.
choose to join the Catholic Church, and that's great. We embrace them,
Yeah.
and work with all of our families
Yeah.
on growing their relationship with God and on helping their kids become the best citizens they can be. So it's really a blessing to do this. It's like wow, I just feel so honored to be here to have this opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
be able to make a difference in people's lives. And I get things wrong too. It's nothing's ever perfect, but
No.
I hope to grow from that and get better at it each year and be the best I can be.
Yeah. It's a blessing to do what we do, isn't it? It is
It
an
is. It
absolute
really
blessing.
is. Yeah.
Amen. All right. Well, Mike, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk with you, to uh, just keep doing it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
It's a joy glorifying God doing this. It's a blessing. So
Yeah,
thank you for taking time with me. So
absolutely.
happy to be on here and to share the good things happening that the people in our schools are doing that just bring the joy of the gospel to others. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Brighter Together is about all of us in education. And that's the thing that I will talk to. I've talked to schools with great big amounts of kids and faith-based and non-faith-based and virtual and charter and all of them. And like I told you before, this isn't my first time talking to the Catholic diocese or the Catholic school system. And it's just, I love it. I love that you guys are doing what you've been called to do. So congratulations. And I'm excited for you about the opening of the new school. That's really neat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome. It was beautiful. Beautiful to see, beautiful to be at the grand opening with the bishop and
yeah.
yeah, that's actually one of the pictures from the cover of our annual report.
Awesome.
So yeah,
All
check it
right.
out. It's a good little read, and again, thank you for what you're doing, highlighting all the great things going on around the country. We are blessed with so many different ways that people do education and all the benefit to our kids. So thank you for highlighting that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mike.
All right, God bless. Okay.